To do this. Hi, Mike. I'm actually broadcasting 2 minutes earlier because I can't even hold on with this special guest that I have today in our webinar. I'm so excited. We have been waiting to have him for a long time, and it's just going to be great today's broadcast, Michael. Oh, you're still muted, Mike.
There we go. Hey, good morning, Claudia. Aloha. Aloha, Kevin. And yes, we're getting a little early. Let's wait here and see. Oh, here, I think Judy just jumped on. So, hi, Judy. You're in Texas, I believe, Judy, aren't you? She's actually, I'm in Texas too, folks. But we'll wait a few minutes here, see who else jumps on.
Yes. So,
Claudia, thank you for arranging all this. This is going to be a fun, fun day.
It is. And so what we want to tell our viewers today is that we actually, as the ones that have been watching us know, Michael and I, we love technology, and Kevin is just going to be amazing with his presentation today. And so today we have three things running. We're running a Facebook Live. So those of you that are watching it Facebook Live, welcome. And the ones that are going to watch it when people start sharing it, that's great, but don't miss it when it's live, because when you're live, you can actually ask questions to our guests. And for those of you that joined the webinar, which we have noticed is actually the smaller number, welcome as well. We're going to start planning some draws so that people actually start committing going into the webinar as well, because those have been working for me at the classes. So when you log in, it's actually even better because we're running two systems here. People are answering questions on Facebook. We're answering questions on the actual chat. So it just runs the whole show. And so this is the new world of meetings. You don't have to move too much from your house. Kevin just went to tell his kids, I'm doing a meeting, try and stay quiet for as long as you can. I sent mine to the zoo because he's always jumping in the meeting. And so this really is what we want to tell you about today. So it's 1 o'clock, Michael. What do you think? Should I introduce our guest?
And get started, folks. And if you are joining the webinar, again, also hello to everyone that's on Facebook Live. We'll come back and comment with you folks later. But if you're jumping on the webinar with the link, just open up that little chat room and say hi and where you're joining us from. We'd love to see who you're from and where you're from. We do get folks from all over the world on some of these. We welcome everybody. I have invited some folks from Kenya. Now, it's very late in the evening in Kenya, but we might get somebody jumping on here from Kenya.
I did too, and we actually have one, Michael. We have Claudia Ballesteros. So Claudia Ballesteros, it's very nice to have you in our meeting, in our live webinar. And I think you wrote me last night that you were excited to see Kevin more. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. The way that our meeting is going to run is going to be a little bit different. So we do have a business presentation for you, but what we do is this business, it's about stories and it's about testimonials. And Michael and I have been telling our stories now for weeks and weeks. And so that's why we like to bring guests. And Kevin has an incredible story. Now, Kevin Moore, Gold International at our company, he is an incredible man. But when I met this man, he was actually starting to be also my mentor. Now, this man taught me a lot of things throughout the years that he had mentored me. And just like I partnered with Michael, I partnered with Kevin to just work and tell people our stories, tell people what we have, because what we have is still just the most precious gift, which is the gift of working from home and being able to raise our kids with this. So I'm going to let our incredible guest today tell the story. And after he finishes, I'm going to run really quickly the presentation, and at the end, if there's time for some question and answers, you will be free to ask Kevin live questions and answers. So Kevin, we're so excited to have you. Please tell us more.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia. First of all, it's an honor to be with such great leaders as Claudia and J. Michael. It's been pretty excellent to see just what they've done over the time that they've been with For Life, because they are the very example of the three things that I say you have to have in this business to be successful. And I read a book, a great book, and it says there's three keys to success. It says, do you have faith? Do you have fire? And do you have focus? And they are great examples of faith, fire, and focus, that's for sure. So it's an honor for me to be able to kind of tell you a little bit of my background, my story with this great company, share a little bit about, the past and the present and what I believe to be the future for life. I have a very unique perspective because I joined the company back in 1999. It was actually Valentine's Day, so it was destined to be something I fell in love. But I walked in February 14th, 1999, and I got a job. And that's what it was. And they say job is an acronym for just over broke. Well, it must have been a job for me because I was just under broke. I was 22 years old, broke college student, and I didn't really think it was going to turn into anything that was going to have any longevity. I didn't think it was going to be a career. It was minimum wage, and I only got the job because I happened to live next door to the CEO, David Lisenby. And he's just the type of man that is going to reach out and help people up. He's always willing to give a hand up. And so he saw that I was in a situation where I was going to school and pursuing my education. He asked me, do you have a job? I said, no, I'm looking for one. He said, hey, I'm starting a company. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, I'm starting a company that's going to change the world with our science and our opportunity. And I thought, wow, as a 22-year-old college kid, I thought, well, that's pretty bold. And look at what's happened over the last 20 years. He had great vision. I'm grateful for his vision because at 22 years old, I didn't share in it. I didn't have that capacity. Thankfully, he did. And look what he's been able to do with it. But to give you a little idea of what this company has meant to me and how it's allowed me to do life differently is when I went and got that job, minimum wage, I didn't really even have a job description. In corporate America, you have the chief executive officers, then they have chief officers, then you have vice presidents, directors, managers, supervisors, and then you have the different departments, entry level. Well, if this was entry level, I was one step below when I started. I didn't even have a job description for the most part. It was like, okay, you're going to be in inbound sales, but the company was brand new. So we might not have a lot of orders and enrollments for you to take. So when the phones aren't busy, clean up the warehouse. When the phone's not busy, attend to the restrooms. That's literally where I started with this company. In the first 7 years that I worked for For Life, a couple things happened, professional and personal. Personal-wise, I got married. And I did the best prospecting job I've ever done because I married way up, and somehow, some way I convinced her to start our journey and our life together. I realized something though. Now I had 2 dreams, 2 goals, 2 people to provide for, and that's expensive. Getting married was a wake-up call to me, just how expensive it was. Professionally though, something was going on at the same time. I became a great convert to this business model. Over 7 years, I worked my way from just one step under entry level to where I was actually on the front lines of the company. And then I worked my way to mid-management. And pretty soon I was what they called a premier sales manager, which meant I took care of the top distributors in the company. I oversaw a department that serviced the highest ranking distributors that For Life had to offer. And I personally took care of the top ranking distributors such as Dave Daughtry and Jeff Falkilbers and some of our platinum international diamonds now. Well, something very interesting happened. I became converted because they are so excitable. They're passionate, faith, fire, and focus. Those guys eat, sleep, and drink it. And that kind of excitement is contagious. So I really became converted to this business model. It didn't hurt that I saw the checks going out. And my check, after 7 years, I was basically getting a 4% raise every year. Well, those of you that are familiar with cost of living or inflation, cost of living was going up about 4% every year. And so basically I had to tell myself, are you liking the lifestyle you're in now, or do you want to do life differently? Because the lifestyle I was in there, I loved the company. I loved the mission of the company. I did not love the checks. I was basically just barely getting a raise to keep up with the increase of inflation. Well, my responsibility was increasing at a far greater rate, because then what happened, 1999, just after my wife and I got married, 10 months after to be precise, we actually had a little boy. And that really was something that was a bigger wake-up call than I could have ever imagined, because children are expensive. They wrote the book on expensive. I thought getting married was going to pinch my pocketbook. Now you have a little guy to provide for diapers and formula and all of those things. Now, it was my dream to have a big family. My father passed away when I was 5 years old, so I was very close to my brother and my sister. My mom chose to never remarry, and that was a labor of love for her. She put her time and her investment, her commitment into raising us kids, and she had to do a lot of odds and ends jobs, make a lot of sacrifice in order to do that. And so I wanted to have a big family, because without my father, I was very close to my brother and my sister, and my entire goal was I want to be a great dad, because my dad was taken from me, and I want to be the dad that he would have been if that wasn't the case. Now, in my teenage years, I got a little bit bitter. I saw other dads taking their kids out fishing and hunting and taking them out to throw the ball and teach them sports and just spend quality time. And I just said, you know what? I can't get bitter. I got to focus on what I can control. There's an excuse or there's a way. You can't have both. So I just said, when I get married and I have kids, I'm going to be there for them. Well, when my son was 4 years old, he had something that they called Daddy Donut Day. And he was so excited for me to go. Long story kind of short, when you're tied to a job, you do what you have to do, not necessarily what you want to do. You live what the boss tells you to do, because you're trading your time for money. And that's a situation I was in. And so here I was. It doesn't seem like that big a deal. It's just Daddy Donut Day. It was a day where I went with him, and I was supposed to read a storybook and eat some donuts together. But it was quality bonding father and son time, the kind of father and son time that I didn't have growing up. That was my focus with my kids. And I wasn't able to go because there was way too much month at the end of the money. We didn't have the money to pay the bills. Time at work equaled money to pay the bills. And so I wasn't able to go. My mother-in-law ended up going with my son. And so, it was hard for me because I looked at myself as a total fraud. Because now I'm in a situation where I'm supposed to be this dad, this dad that my father would have been. And I can't even, it's not just about providing, because money is not going to solve all your problems. But money is a pretty great problem to cross off that list, because what does it represent? Does it represent time? Does it represent putting time into the people that matter the most? Because I'm a big believer that when it comes to family and friends, the relationships that matter the most to us, time is spelled Love, and love is spelled Time. Because where you put your love, that's where you put your time, and vice versa. And so I was in a rut. I was in a bit of a depression, because now I'm like, okay, I'm tied to a job. I love the company, but I'm still tied to a job. I'm spending all my time up there, and I'm not even able to be there for my son. And so have you ever been in one of those funks where you're just in a funk and you're in a rut? That's where I was. And I was like that for a few weeks after I missed Daddy Donut Day. And my wife, she called me up and she said, "Hey, sweetie, why don't you come home for lunch?" She's like, "I'll fix you up your favorite food, and we'll just spend the 45-minute, lunch hour together." And I could tell she's trying to cheer me up, and, she's my better half. And so that's not all that uncommon. But I was, like I said, kind of in a funk. And so I said, okay, well, I'll come home, and it's 10-minute drive there, 10-minute drive back to work. But I'm like, that only gives us 30 minutes. She said, it's okay. I'll just make you up something. So I went home, and as soon as I walked in, it smelled great because she's a great cook. But I looked over, and she kind of had this coffee table, and they had the plate and the utensils, and it was set up for the meal that she was preparing, but it also had just a little box. It was the size of, about that. It wasn't a big box, but there's a little box there, and it had a bow on it. Now, this is a very guy thing, but as a husband, the first thing I did is I did a quick inventory because I was worried that I had missed an important date. So I said to myself, man, is it our anniversary? Is there something that we should be celebrating? Is it a special occasion? Because I was worried that I was in trouble, that I had forgotten something. I did a quick inventory in my mind, went through the checklist, and I was safe. It wasn't any of those things. So I said, I wonder what she's got going here. Sometimes she did gifts. She said they're just because, or I love you gifts. Well, I wasn't in the mood for that because as much as I loved her, as much as I appreciated the sentiment and the thought, those are expensive. And I'm sitting here mulling over the fact that we don't have enough money and that we can't pay the bills. And we're in a 1-bedroom apartment with our, 4-year-old son, and he's sleeping at the bed in the crib, kind of like a little kid's toddler bed at the foot of our bed because we only have 1 bedroom. And I'm just, I'm still fresh on the daddy donut thing. And so I remember looking at this box and I just said, okay, we can't afford just because I love you gifts. And I just remember saying, I hope whatever she has in there, I don't care what it is. I appreciate the thought, but whatever it is, it's got to go back. It better have a great return policy, and she better have kept the receipt. And she just had the smile, open it. And I'm just thinking to myself, she better have kept the receipt because it's going back. I opened it up and I reached in and I felt something. I wasn't really sure what it was. And when I pulled it out, it was a positive pregnancy test. Well, that was her way of telling me that baby number 2 was on the way. Now, kids don't have a great return policy. They definitely don't come with a receipt. I remember I looked at her and I did my best acting job I've ever done. I should have won an Academy Award because I knew that she was happy. Because when we were engaged, we talked about a big family. She wanted a big family. I wanted a big family. We talked about the American dream. The American dream, 2 kids and a white picket fence. I said, well, let's supersize the American dream. Let's have 5 or 6 kids. I know it sounds crazy to some, but that was our American dream. I said, we'll supersize the family. We'll supersize the fence. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Keep them in. But life had changed me. Whatever your goals are, life changes you sometimes because, it's like the heavyweight champion Mike Tyson said. He said, everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the face. Well, I had been punched in the face. My game plan was going off the rails. I wanted a big family. Now, with the addition of number 2 being announced to me in this way, I looked to my wife. She had tears of joy. I wanted to have tears of sadness because I was just thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And I looked to her and I put on my best face and smiled and hugged her. I'm so happy. I love you. And then I went to wash my hands for the lunch that she prepared. And as I was walking into the bathroom, a big guy, tall, big, and I felt my knees buckle. And I just looked up to the heavens and I just said, what am I supposed to do here? Show me a way because I want to provide for this family. I want this family. I want to have the big family, but I can't have the big family that I can't provide for. I can't have the big family that I can't be there for. I'm not going to be an absentee father. And I was in just helpless mode. I was hopeless. There was despair. And I just left there after that lunch, and it felt like a lot longer than 10 minutes back to work because my mind was just grinding. It was just thinking about what am I going to do? And then a very crazy thing happened. The next day, I was doing a presentation, and I was doing a presentation for some leaders that had flown in with a distributor. And I was talking about the compensation plan. And it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I said, Kevin, the reason you can only get a 4% raise here at the corporate office is because where does this company put its money? Who are they most invested in? 64% is what the For Life compensation plan pays out. Claudia will cover that in the presentation. And I said, Kevin, That's the lion's share. You're on the lesser share side. So maybe the answer has been here all along. The answer is become a For Life distributor. You love this company. You have a testimony of this product. You've literally been in a position on the front lines where you've heard hundreds and thousands of testimonials with this science. So you believe in the science, you believe in the product, you believe in the company, you believe in the leadership, you love the culture, you love what they're doing here. But do you love it enough to believe in yourself? Do you love it enough to do life differently? It's not for somebody else. Is it for you? And it was like lightning from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I said, this is what I need to do. So I went home. I talked to my wife. She had been sick as a dog. She had incredible morning sickness, so she was sick. So I did a quick check on her. I said, how are you feeling today? And she said, you know what, Kevin? She goes, I'm doing okay. I haven't thrown up. That was a good day because she hadn't vomited with morning sickness. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to talk to her. And I said, hey, I've got an answer to our prayers. I know what I need to do. And she said, what? And I said, I'm going to quit my job. And she about lost it. She didn't even let me finish. You're going to quit your job? And I said, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. And I'm going to become a distributor for this company. Now, sometimes the people that are closest to us are the biggest detractors because they love us, but maybe they don't share in our vision. I tease her. I said, you're my first dream stealer because she was like, this is crazy, Kevin. Stay with security. Stay at the corporate office. Stay doing what you're doing. And eventually enough time and will pass and you'll be able to, move up and get promoted and get that raise that you're looking for. And we have a promise to each other that we don't go to bed mad at one another. That night, we went to bed angry with one another. That's just the truth, full transparency. Because I was like, why can't she believe in me? And she was like, why is he being so risky? Well, the next morning I woke up and she was kind of lurking like a shadow, like a ninja in the shadows. And she just walked up and she said, hey, I love you. I'll support you. I'll get behind you on this. So I called up Dave Daughtry. That was easy. That was the easiest decision of all because I was able to interview my sponsor for 7 years. Dave Daughtry, he does life differently. He is Together Building People. So you got to find a good mentor. I interviewed my sponsor and I said to him, I go, you know what? I go, let me join this man. This man is about developing leaders and building success. So I called him up. I just said, Dave, what if I told you, for 7 years, we've become very close, like brothers. I said, what if I told you that this is the right company, but I want to get on the right side of things? And he said, very simple, very simple. And Dave's a man of a profound communication and great inspiration, but he just said, let's do it. That's all I said. So I went back, I talked to the For Life CEO. They gave me their blessing. I became a distributor. So that's it, right? Overnight success. I got rich quickly. No, that's not it. It was the hardest first year. That first year, I went from 9 to 5 to 8 to faint. The difference between an employee and an entrepreneur is when you're an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, right? You build. You're not just doing. You create. You're not just told what to do. So I kept my own schedule. Entrepreneur is not French for unemployed. It means you've got to chase it. And guess what? That first year, I chased it like crazy. I chased it. And guess what? Rejection became my best friend. I had more people tell me no. People that I was close to, friends and family. Dave Daughtry says something that's so true. But the first three people that I started with, me, myself, and I. It's true. Those are the people that I went out there with. And the first person I did a presentation with, my mom. Because I had 7 years of information, but information is different than application. I had to go and apply it. I had to talk to her. You have to do, not just know. So it did not happen overnight. It was difficult. After 1 year, I thought maybe I had made the right decision. After 2 years, I felt confident about it. 5 years later, I had a network in 40 plus countries, and I was traveling the world sharing science, success, and service. 10 years later, I had reached the second highest rank in the company, and I was a gold international diamond. And the best thing is, my money has gone way up 4% over the year after year. But money is not the greatest thing about it. The best thing is I'm ultimate dad now. First kid was wake up call. Second kid was nervous breakdown. I've got 4 more kids afterwards, 4 for 4 life, right? Those 4 kids after, those have all been happiness, no acting, sincere joy. And it's not just that I have the family of 6 that we always wanted. We have a big fence too. It's a fact that with those 6 kids, I'm there for them. I am Daddy Donut Day now. I go up, we enjoy our donuts, we enjoy our stories. I coach them. I go to dance recitals for my girls. I go to basketball, baseball. I think my dad is probably looking down and he's probably pretty proud of the dad that I am, the dad that he would have been. So that's priceless. That's, to me, doing life differently. So it's a great company. In 7 years of working internally for this company, I loved the people there, still do. You know, you think after 7 years I might have saw something that worried me about integrity or worried me about vision or worried me about character. 7 years, I saw people doing the right things for the right reasons. I knew I could go from working for them to going all in and putting my life in their hands, because that's what kind of company this is. So, you know, onward and upward, 20 years with this company. I'm more excited than ever about the future, the products, the programs, the tools. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be with her. I'm going to turn it back over to Claudia. She's going to tell you the details because the details are so crucial.
Thank you. Was that not super exciting? I know this story many times because I've heard Kevin many times, but today was amazing and I haven't heard it in a long time. So Kevin, thank you for that. You are an inspiration. You motivate me every single time. And that's what we want for people that are listening to this, to be able to make that change, to make that jump, to make that, like he said in our logo now, do life differently, because it's not about how much money you have in the bank, but actually how much time you enjoy with your loved ones. And so that's what I'm going to tell you in this presentation. And like I said, I'm going to really run the presentation a little bit fast so we can, okay, let me see my desktop here. So we can ask the questions that you need at the end. So view and full screen. Okay. Is this my first slide? As we said, we're going to talk a little bit about doing life differently. Doing life differently is not really very different than what you do every day. It's about sharing products that you love. We already do it with movies. We already do it with restaurant. Hey, we even do it just with the coffee that we had that morning and the flavor that it was. So why not maximize the power of word of mouth? Because the most trusted form of marketing is word of mouth. What we do at For Life is together we build people. Building people, for me, has been what we have today. Kevin is actually in Utah. He has attended as our guest, and he has been my mentor from Utah, and I live in Toronto. Kevin is always there for you. Now, Michael, who many of you have seen in my previous meetings, we have worked together for about 8 or 9 months. And again, we only met a month and a half ago at convention. So we build each other. We are a family. We boost and build each other. Our company has 3 pillars, and these are the ones that Kevin was talking about when he said, I knew that I had the right formula. For me, my story is very similar, and I know that that's why Kevin and I get along so well. We are people that are driven. We want success, but we also are family people. And so when I saw this company, I had been already 14 years in a company that also stands for very good standards, but I had been also in the side of the corporate world. So what I wanted to do was jump into being a distributor, and this company offered me what I wanted. It offered me the science. I knew this company was going to be here for the next 20 years. It offered me success. For me, that meant it was a company that was solid, that was not really going anywhere. It was not too new, and it was not too old. It was just perfect. And it also had the best compensation plan that I could find out there. Service-wise, we have so many things that we do that I could not even touch on them today. So I want you to go to the person that invited you, because we have many programs, from feeding children to building houses in Colombia, which is one of my goals and my dreams now. And we're going to be doing those building houses, in other parts of the world. But we started this year with building these house for people that need it in countries that we have our For Life offices in. So what makes For Life different? This is why I chose it. We have something that no other company has. As Kevin was saying, we have the science to back us up. We are proud, and we actually have it registered, this name, as to be the immune system company. Why are we the immune system company? We have many, many supplements, and many other companies do, but we have something that no other supplement company has, which is transfer factor. Transfer factor, I'm going to go really quickly with this. It's a peptide. It actually recognizes response and remembers threats. So when we're talking about immune system, our immune system is designed to recognize and respond to what is happening, and then actually remember for the future so that it can act accordingly. And so when we talk about immune system, there is a lot that we have been talking in our other meetings, so I'll leave that for one of our other presentations. Our executives, the owners of this company, David and Bianca and Lisenby, the president is now Danny Lee, CEO Danny Lee, and Steve too, who was our president for over many, many, many years, 15 years, is now in our chair of our board of directors. For Life is making history. Again, I could talk about each of these, but I don't have enough time today. I'm just going to go with, we were the 15th fastest growing company in the Inc. 500 in 2003. What makes this special? That we had only been in business for 5 years, and we already were in the top 15. So we continue to be at the top, but that made it really good, because when you are very new in these kind of companies, to reach an Inc. 500 at that stage, that was great. So we have, I'm going to say, dozens and dozens of solid awards, of solid reviews, and so we can talk about that again when you touch base with the person that shared this opportunity with you. Billion dollar industries: wellness, weight management, healthy aging, and skincare. As I said before, I was in a skincare company. It was one of the most, the best company for skincare, but it really only offered me the strength and science in that. Now, when I joined For Life, I realized that now I had quadrupled, because I had healthy aging, I had skincare, I had weight management, I had wellness, and we keep launching products that are geared towards that prolonging your life. And for me, it was really about that. It was about, how can I stay in this planet longer to be able to raise my child? He is 6 years old, and I want to be a young, and I want to be a vital mom. I want to be a mom that is there playing games with him. I don't want to have all these pains and aches that people have when they reach old age. So it has to do a lot with many, many things, but supplementation is one of them. And so that's what we do. Immune science is our strength, as I said, and transfer factor, our product. Transfer factor offers nature's wisdom. It educates and enhances your immune system. It works directly where you need it to work, which is activating your body to do what it needs to do. Now, let me tell you something. When you join a network marketing company, it's really important that you have patents. Ours, between the international and the U.S. patents, we have over 40 patents, which means it secures our business. No other company can have what we have, because we have secured them with patents. And so this is what makes us different. We have products for weight loss and strength, and a 30-day accelerator. And so we have products that work. We have lots of before and afters. And I'm going to tell you something. these before and afters are just on changes that people did with their body. But really what we love to focus are on before and afters where people have had something that is a major issue in their life, and now they are free of whatever they were having, and they can actually live life fully and plentifully. We have energy drinks. We have just so many products that, again, over 100 products that you can look at in our catalog. Hopefully the person that is sharing this video with you is also sharing a brochure, an emailable brochure, or some of the PDFs that we have in our new app. So how would you like to do life differently? There's actually 6 ways to do the business, because what we do in Kevin, Michael, myself, and our teams, what we do is look for people that have the great mind of an entrepreneur. Like Kevin said, entrepreneur actually means love time with your family, and this is what it means for me. So what do you do? What you do is you start sharing the products. This is what I did. Actually, my sister shared the product with me, and when she shared it, I became a customer. So when you get a customer, you actually get 25% on sale purchases, and that's a pretty nice standard to start with. A lot of other companies, they offer a little bit less or a little bit more, but you have to do certain things to achieve it. With us, I loved our compensation plan. It was simple, and it was easy to explain. So you register today, you get some sales done tonight, you're getting 25%. Now, in the States, they actually deposit daily. So tomorrow you would already have money in your bank. What other company? I don't know any other companies that actually pay daily. And so for me to start a company and know that the next day I'm going to get paid, that was amazing. Now, that's in the US. So for those of you listening in other parts of the world, it works on a monthly basis. The next thing was that I could get my products at a discount price. So 25% on every customer order and 25% on personal purchases. I said, wow, I'm already buying a lot of the supplements that we have in other places. Why not get the discount for myself? Now, the next thing was, as soon as you start the business and start sharing it with friends and they want to do the same as you, you get 25% on that first order. And I thought, right away, I don't have to have a team. I don't have to have any setup. So for those of you network marketers listening to me out there, this company starts paying on the first person. So it's a simple plan to achieve the money right away. So I get money on team commissions. I get money on retail profit. I get money on loyalty programs. So people that place the order every month, they get free product. Plus they get money back in credits for more product. So lots and lots of things to do. So how do you multiply yourself? This is where my time came, where I said, okay, I have a child, I'm a single mom, how am I going to do this business? And I already had experience in building teams, but like I said, I was in the other side, just like Kevin. I was helping other people make money, and I was helping the company make money, but my check never kept growing. Actually, I was thinking Kevin was pretty lucky. He got a 4% increase every year. My increase was 1.5 to 2%. And when I made number 1 sales manager in my company, that year I got 4%. And so I actually thought, wow, Kevin, your increase was much bigger than me. So if you have a job, ask yourself, how much are you increasing every year on your salary? Because I mean, if you're a business owner, you know you can't not pay more really than that 3 or 4%. If you're lucky and you're getting 5% increases, 10% increases, that's a great job. But until when are they going to be able to do that with you? Because here is what really, really attracted me to this kind of business. I can increase, and it's not at the beginning how it happens, but because it almost looks like you're pushing a cart up the mountain. At the beginning, you're thinking, but I'm working so hard and I'm not making the money that I thought I was going to make, because this is how network marketing works. But if you're one of those that understand, and this is what we're looking for, just a few people, just a few that will understand that pushing the cart up the mountain is going to be worth it. Because if I find that, just to give you an example, 6 people that buy this pack, this is 150 points pack, which is about, almost $200. So this is just an example. And if I find 6 people that buy this pack, the company is going to pay me a commission, and the commission is going to be $30. So now I'm pushing that cart up the mountain, and it feels heavy, because to find those 6 people, this is what I'm doing today through this presentation. This is what Kevin and Michael are going to do when they share this presentation. We're looking for those of you that understand this simple chart, this slide out of all of it. If I find 6, and those 6 understand the business, and find 6 around the world. We are in 150 countries. A lot of them actually were opened by Dave Daughtry, our upline leader, and Kevin. And so, there's many, many platinums that have opened to other countries, but I just speak about mine, and I speak so highly because he has been fantastic with me as well. So if I find 6 that multiply and they understand the business and they find each of them 6 and they buy the same pack, 150 pack, it's going to be $1,170 that is going to be deposited in my account. Now, tell me something. Is this something that attracts you? Because if I could get this money, I already knew that I would have covered all my basic needs. But if I can multiply myself 6 times 6 times 6, I will add up over $6,000 income. And if you're not making $6,000 income in the job that you have now, you should start considering talking to us about this, because this is additional income. We're not telling you to leave your job like Kevin and I did. We're telling you that we have an option for you where you can create additional income while you still work. The reason that Kevin quit his job and I quit my job was because we were in the direct selling and network marketing industry. So it was a competing issue. But if you are a lawyer, if you are a realtor, if you are a nanny, if you are a stay-at-home mom, whatever you are, you can do this business and create the 6,000 and more money. There is no limit. And so the increase, what we're talking about, that 4% increase, it can be as much as you want. Like I said, you get some free products, and the most important part, rewarding lifestyle. So you build a network from your phone. I have done many of these presentations from Hawaii. I've done them from Florida, and I'm going to China in this summer. So I'm planning to do one from China. So any place I'm in, you can do this business from your phone. But the beautiful part about it is the relationships that we build. Some of my best friends are with me in this business. Kuwinder Samra, who's listening to me, she has been with me from the beginning. We have been pushing the cart together, and when we get to ride on it and go down the mountain, it's going to be wonderful, Kuwinder. But the friends that I have met through the past 4 years, every convention that we go, we make new friends, and it has been incredible. And to give to others, this is also a great part. To be able to feed a child, one child, for $29.99, and to go into a program where monthly you can actually feed children. Not only feed, because there's other programs. You give them backpacks, you give them, like I said, even their houses to live in, and we help communities. You can actually feed a family for a month if you want to start that program. So we have many, many programs, and you get involved. You actually get to go to these countries and play your part at this. So this is important. You're going to find true purpose and meaning when you build the people around you. This business is not about you stepping on the other person to get to the top. This is not about building yourself in a career or in a company. This is about you helping others, and by helping others, you're helping yourself. So who supports you? We have step-by-step training. We just launched an incredible app that has a beautiful system. Personal mentors, this is what we do. Michael, Kevin, myself, we're here to support you, the person that sent you this presentation. And so you can become anything today. You want to try our products? You can become a customer. Just if you got this video by somebody that shared it with you, ask them more about the products that we have, because what we have, no one else has it. We have the new prebiotic with prebiotics, probiotics, and transfer factor in one. We have energy drinks that are incredible. Protein powder with transfer factor. And again, everything powered by one incredible science that we have, which is the transferceutical science. Now, if you love to be a customer and maybe make some money by sharing the product, you can become a retailer or a business developer, which is what we are. We are looking for people that want to do life differently and that want to spend more time with their children, or want to, go to the vacations they have dreamed of, buy the car that they wanted. Because if you're in the same job and you have been in the same job for 5 years, 10 years or more, and you don't have what you have wanted, remember that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. So we are offering you today an opportunity. If you take it, that's wonderful. If you don't, Please don't come back to us and say we didn't tell you. So tips to get started: talk to the person that invited you, start using the products. And these are the commissions, and I'm just going to really show you that this is it's on our website. It's the average commissions for our titled leaders. If you're a diamond, $7,000 a year. What could you do with that? Presidential diamond, 33 or more a year. International diamond, 112. Gold international, almost $500,000. And platinums make $2 million and more. So you actually get to write your check. You actually get to write where you want to go. In many companies, you end up for 20 or 40 years and you do not get to be the CEO. So if you're not on the road to being the CEO of your company, like I said, we have an offer for you. Jump on our bus and write your check. Write your dream, write your life. Which one do you want to be? And also, by when? Because it depends on time. I wish I could already be a gold international, but I can't because I have a child and I have other things that I need to do with my child. So I go at the pace that I want. You decide what pace you want to go, how fast you want to run. So for today, I want to just go back to Michael and Mike. There you are. And I'm going to just give the mic to Michael and let him tell us a little bit about his story. Michael?
Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know. After hearing these two stories, and thanks so much for that presentation, Claudia. I love the facts of the company, and those speak for themselves, guys. They are real facts. Kevin, I so appreciated your story. What a wonderful, wonderful story too. Mine's, and Kevin, you kind of reminded me of mine in a way. I did it a little differently. I'm sitting behind me is a photo of the very first restaurant I opened in 1987. And I had a wife, and I had an 18-year-old son. 18-month-old son. And I made the decision to quit my job managing a restaurant in Southern California. We had a dream. I moved our family to Maui, Hawaii, and I opened this little cafe that's behind me here in 1987 and just went to work. And I too had sleepless nights and, oh my gosh, how am I going to make this a success? Folks, that restaurant today is 32 years old. I no longer own it. I've sold that one, but I know the difference, and I know I saw 10 years ago the value of network marketing and building a life of building people versus building a restaurant, where I did have wonderful employees. I have employees that work for me 30 years in my restaurants, but the value of network marketing and building people from Utah and Kevin and the relationships I have with Kevin and his family, and Claudia with her family in Toronto, and people in Maui, Hawaii, the Kenyan team. I love the Kenyan team and what we're doing in Kenya and East Africa. I have a heart for African mission ministries. But Claudia, thanks for letting me share a little bit too. I'm going to throw this back to you a little bit. But folks, this is an invitation to really, really look at something. If you have dreams, if you're trying to provide for your family, you want to travel, want to just live a lifestyle of a laptop and a cell phone. I mean, you can build this business from a laptop and a cell phone for an investment or an upfront cost, in my mind, that was so reasonable. The last restaurant I opened in 2007, which is still open today, and I still do own that one, cost $1.4 million to open that restaurant. Can you imagine the risk there? And I can generate I have the same opportunity within my For Life distributorship and my For Life company to generate the same amount of revenue. I can sell products all over the world, where that restaurant I can only sell within that building and those four walls in that building. So I see network marketing, folks, as the future. It's impacting lives all over the world, all types of economies, all types of income people, whether it's a police officer, a school teacher, a professional, doctors, Dr. Ojinga I met in Salt Lake City, and Jacinta in Kenya. We meet all kinds of people, and that's that one slide where it's about building relationships. It's about the family. It's about building a family of like-minded folks and friends and family that love what they do. We invite you to join us. Get with the person that invited you to to watch this, get your questions answered, and make a decision. Become a customer. You can just sell our products and make 25% every other day, or become a business builder like Kevin and Claudia and I have done, and build a business internationally from your own backyard. Start in your backyard. I'm in Tyler, Texas here, but I'm building all over the world. Claudia, thank you for letting me share. Appreciate it.
Michael, that was great. And you always have such a great story. So Michael and I do have some videos on YouTube. Some of them are on my YouTube channel. Some of them are on Michael's. So if you want to hear more about our stories, we are happy to send you there. But we have this every Saturday. And so our invitation today is, if you are interested in joining our business, it's as simple as that, because people just want to hear that there is something different, that they do have an opportunity out there that is waiting for them. And all you do is invite them to these meetings or other presentations that we have throughout the week. So what I'm saying is, we help you do the work until you learn. So it's our presentation, but it's your guests. And all you want to do is send them over to us. Now, if you have any questions, Kevin is not in his office anymore. But if you have questions for Michael and I, we will be happy to answer them in a few minutes. And if not, I will close the meeting. I want to thank everybody that was on the live. I see some people joining and writing. I also want to thank people that came in live. Anna Maria, welcome. I saw you come in. And Kawinder, I didn't welcome her officially. And Francis, thank you for joining us. So if you ladies and gentlemen have any questions, we are here to answer. And if not, get back to the person that shared this video with you, because you can also do life differently. You can travel around the world. You can make money while you travel. You don't have to ask anybody for a vacation. You don't have to. Oh, Michael, while I wait for the questions, I wanted to share with you a very sad news. The company that I worked for before, there was a lot of commotions yesterday on Facebook because they have downsized again the managers. And so they have done this several times. And so I just wanted to say that I was writing with one of my manager friends that had she retired about a couple of months ago, and she said, wow, I got out on the nick of time. And then what I wrote her was, it is sad that sometimes you have to leave a company that you love so much, but that at some point you make it downsize. And sometimes you don't know, but you have to be ready to this reality. Companies are downsizing. Artificial intelligence is coming, and it's not because there's somebody better than you. It's because a robot can do it better and faster and cheaper than you. So if you are in this fear, do not live in fear anymore. I had to take the plunge a long time ago, almost 3 years ago, and I said, I can't live with this fear. I can't live with the fear that I'm going to get downsized. So to all my manager friends, ex-manager friends that are listening, I am sorry that this is happening, but we have an open door for you. We also heard something about Mary Kay in the U.S. or London, actually, not U.S., but we don't know the facts yet. So not only a lot of the regular companies, but network marketing companies are shutting down or are closing offices. And so ours keeps opening. So we are welcoming people so that we can tell them more about our compensation plan. Michael, that's all for today. I'm going to close it unless you have one more thing to say. Oh, you are muted. So you're saying you have nothing more, I think.
I said aloha.
Aloha. So yeah.
I got a challenge. Let's all meet in Hawaii here over sometime this year or next year and have a party.
I think that's a great challenge, Michael. I know how much you love Hawaii. Thank you, everybody.
So much for joining us, everyone. Love you. We'll be back here same time next Saturday. And have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. And go out there and serve some folks and some kids. Feed some kids this month.
Feed some kids this month. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys. Love ya.